This is Veda Sports, only on the VSiN Podcast Network.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Veda Sports Podcast. I'm now 17. Well, let's see. Yeah, 17 and 21 for the year. Mike is still, well, we'll give him a tie on the one. We'll call him 23, 16, and 0. Mikey guaranteed 4 wins this season. He's 3-1 in his guarantees. So if you shadowed his bets, you'd be up around 9 units. More if you bet double on his guaranteed picks. Mike the Mouth Mattis is a 4-time World Series of Poker winner. Mike knows sports, studies sports, and watches more games than all of us combined. Mike, before I go to your rant, get it ready. I'm here in Reno. I'm filming Helmuth's home game. We just finished 3 days of filming. I mean, there were some massive pots. Stanley Tang was here. And folks, you can watch Helmuth's home game on YouTube. We have 1 million minutes watched. I mean, it was just some crazy action. And so, I just finished filming, ran upstairs. I'm a little bit tired. Let's go to Mike for his rant.
Well, my rant is against all the people out there that think that Sean McDermott should not have been fired from the Bills. I mean, as soon as I saw the play that they ran with 13 seconds to go in the first half, and then they fumbled the ball and gave away 3 points. What did I say? I was screaming, the coach needs to be fired. You cannot run this play. That is the worst run play in the history of sports. And it ends up costing the Bills a playoff game. And everybody on all the talking heads are, hey, he should have been fired. They were so mean to him. Oh, why was he fired? Why was he fired? They should have fired him at halftime after that play. That was the worst called play that I have seen in NFL history. And it cost the Bills from moving forward. And I don't understand why none of the talking heads are talking about he deserved to be fired for letting that play call go through, because that play call went through from the coach. Because if you remember at halftime, they asked him about that play call before half, and he says, well, we try and be aggressive. Do you know that from their own 20-yard line there, they were 1% with no timeouts to score? And that's why he lost his job.
But it was terrible. It was such a easy no-brainer, take a knee, go to half. That did cost them the game.
And I just don't understand why none of the talking heads on any of the networks are saying, well, I think he deserves to lose his job just for that play call.
Come on, Mike, you're so right. And come on, we've been saying it for years. We all feel like everybody in the podcast, and Woodley has the day off because I decided to do it at 8 p.m. Poor Woodley, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Let me just say, all of us have felt like McDermott should have been fired 2 years ago.
Yeah, the 13-second game, he should have been fired.
3 years ago. Like, there's just so many times. I think he's cost Josh Allen a Super Bowl. I really do. And it's been the stupid strategic mistakes. I'm not saying the players don't love him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that his play calling is generally horrible. But if you don't understand analytics in this age, and you don't understand when you're supposed to run 3 times, all right, to leave the other team with 20 seconds, if you don't understand the basic math, and there's a bunch of coaches that don't understand the basic math, they should, I mean, it's ridiculous to watch them.
In the 13-second game, they had 3 timeouts, and they dropped back everybody in the zone and rushed 3. With 3 timeouts, they went 20 yards, went down, took a timeout, went 30 yards, went down, took a timeout. Of course, when you have timeouts left, that was all in the coach. All he had to do is rush 4, and the game was over. No, he sat back in his zone in the 13-second game and handed the game to Kansas City, and now he handed this one to Denver. And
I want to take it one step further. They need to fire the GM too, and maybe even more so than the coach. I was kind of looking at some things. People have been dissecting. They've only had like 1 Pro Bowler in the last 3 years.
2.
Or is it 2 Pro Bowlers? It's not enough. Josh Allen does not have enough help. I actually think he is just on his own island, but get him some more help. I think they just need to start over. I don't know if it's the GM. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know exactly where it is, but everyone's got to go. It's been too long.
I mean, they give up 31 points a game in every playoff loss. I mean, you can't do that. And then whatever.
It's unbelievable. It really is. And to me, I'm coming into the World Series of Poker this year as Superman. Nick's coming in as Batman. Jungle Man's going to be the Archangel. We're doing DC characters. It's going to be a lot of fun. But to me, playoff Josh Allen is like Superman. And so I feel like the coach cost him a championship or two. All right, Brandon Cantu is a 2-time World Series of Poker winner, has some well-thought-out takes. Cantu sometimes bets his entire net worth on one game. Poor Cantu. We always tease him about that. Cantu, what's your rant?
I don't know if it's as much a rant as I have now decided I'm going to really take in the next 2.5 weeks. Hopefully it's 2.5 weeks. This tough Seahawks game. My whole life, I've been a Seahawks fan, a Northwest, Blazers, Seahawks, Mariners. Mariners is my true love, but like we're this close. I was complaining to you guys, I've lived my whole life. We do have the one championship from the Seahawks. I've lived my whole life. I've just got one championship, and really we haven't even been close that many times. There's some great Blazer years. The Mariners, other than this last, if you would have asked me in August, we were nowhere close to winning a championship. Seahawks were nowhere close. I don't know what is going on with how close we were with the Mariners. That was the most fun run of my life. It's now going that this Seahawks run has turned really fun. We had this kid over. My son had a couple of friends over, and he's like, Brandon, can we watch the game at your house? And we just get in. I'm like, yeah, of course. We come in the first play, we have this kid over. There's a couple of kids over, but the neighborhood, this kid brought the energy. We walk in right as the opening kickoff from like the Seahawks is coming in and where Shaheed returns it. Dude, this kid starts, bringing the energy. It was so much fun. Like kind of brought the whole family together as you walk around everywhere. Everybody's like talking about the Seahawks. It's just so much fun. I've got the greatest Seahawks jersey member of all time, Russell Wilson. Most important Seahawk ever.
He's still the highest paid player on the Denver Broncos.
I know. It's good to have him around. Number 2, could this be the second most important player in Seattle history? Could be Darnold. And I got to give one shout out. GM John Schneider, who put together, the Legion of Boom, who put together all those great Seahawks like defenses, man, he's got it going. It does it not look just like the Legion of Boom and kind of exactly the Seahawks are playing?
They took the best defense in the NFL 2 years ago, the Ravens. They took the coach. And now they have the best defense in the NFL. So don't tell me coaching doesn't matter. Coaching is everything.
I believe it's everything.
I don't think Saleh is a very good head coach, but he's a great defensive coordinator. He took you, me, and my cats and turned them into a good defense for San Francisco this year. So,
last thing I got to say. So I can't ever remember a time where we were a favorite. Like in the semis, I don't think, like the overall favorite, like as the Northwest team or like a pretty good favorite. We are now the favorite. That's a lot of expectations. This could be the only time in my lifetime that we are the favorite far to go.
You're not really the favorite. Home court in Seattle's worth about 2.5 or 3 points, and they opened them 1.5. So the bookmakers think the Rams are
2.5 point favorites.
We'll talk about that.
It's going to be close. We got all day to talk about that, but this is my one time. I'm really getting
okay, guys.
Right
my rant, I'm going to flip it on its head. My rant is going to be praise of, and a lot of people watching the show, almost everybody watching the show knows the company Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a great company. Just for Adam Wexler, he's just like, he took this company. We just sold it for $4.1 billion, and I just going to tip my cap to him. Adam, congratulations. He worked so hard for this. You guys don't, when you're a founder, it's a very lonely job, and he had his ups and he had his downs, and he worked on it from 2014, and now he's sitting on top of the world.
I never heard of it till a week ago.
But it's the third biggest. Anyway, it's they've done a great job. And so Adam Wexler, hats off to you. And the whole journey's been fun. I've been an advisor for him. I had $25 million hit my account after the sale a few days ago. And so I'm feeling very rich right now, Mike. Very rich. So, all right. Congratulations.
Mike, it's good to have rich friends, isn't it?
Sure, it sure is.
Well, also Sonny Madra, my friend Sonny Madra, real quick. He sold Grok. He was involved with Grok. He came on board. We sold Grok to NVIDIA for $17 billion. We're going to be celebrating this weekend, GROQ. So I'll be watching the shows in Vegas right now. I'm in Reno. Okay, guys, that was our rants. We're coming back with our number one picks, including David Woodley's number one pick. See you on the other side of the break.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VSiN Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. We have a contest where we give away $500 a week thanks to our sponsor, Edge Boost. Check out Edge Boost's VSiN Average Show contest. Simply make 7 picks each week, NFL or college, for your shot at $500. Already have an Edge Boost account? That prize doubles to $1,000. Quarterly winners get airfare to Vegas, a 2-night stay at Circa Resort, and a guest spot on a VSiN show. It's free to play. Join now at vsin.com/Joe. vsin.com/Joe. Mikey, you've had a red hot year. You're up a lot of units. There's only 2 games to pick.
Well, I mean, I'm going with my number one pick is Denver plus the 5. This line makes 0 sense to me. The look-ahead line was Denver 2.5. They lost their quarterback, and they made this game 5.5, 6. That means that they made this game 8 points based on the quarterback. There's only one quarterback, maybe 2 in all of the NFL that are worth 8 points, and that's Josh Allen and Mahomes. I just can't even believe this line was 5.5. I bet it at 5.5. It's down to 5. I think that it's there's so much value in this line. It's unbelievable. You have to ask yourself, like, I thought Bo Nix was the best quarterback last week, and he played great. But, I mean, we've seen Bo Nix play very poorly in many games this year, and the Denver quarter QBR rating for the season is 87.5, which ranks them 16th in the NFL at 87.5. Like, how much do you think Stidham drop off is? I think 3 to 4 tops. So this game being at 5 is ridiculous.
Nick's playing good.
Yeah, but he's not. You act
Nix
like
was clutch.
People are acting like Stidham's
clutch.
is terrible. You do know, like, when Bo Nix transferred out of Auburn to Oregon, that's because they were not big fans of Bo Nix, and they replaced him with Jared Stidham at Auburn. And a lot of people don't know this. And so, those are the
come on, Stidham hasn't played a snap. I think he took 1 snap this year and he nailed it. I mean, he hasn't played. In his two starts, 2 years ago, he played against San Francisco and Philadelphia. Both of them were in the Super Bowl. He played really well. He played so well that the Raiders, when what's his name, the Patriots offensive coordinator was the head coach of the Raiders, he actually signed Stidham to be the starting quarterback, if you guys remember. So the guy, Josh McDaniels. So the point I'm trying to make is I'm not saying that the Patriots aren't going to win, because I think they will, but this line at 5 right now, 5.5, which I got, is absolutely ridiculous. This game is going to be a 3-point game one way or the other. And you also get a team with the best home record in the they're 11-1, 12-1 at home the last 13 games. Give me Denver plus the 5. I think really when you're coming down to this line, it really, the whole talk is what is Stidham capable of? Is the stage too big for him? Is the pressure too big for him? Is he gonna? I mean, do you know how? I don't know. I don't know that I really have the answer for this, as much as I want to bring it to you guys. The nerves that have to come into this. That all of a sudden you wake up and you're in the AFC Championship. Let's just go look at C.J. Stroud last week. He was so rattled, and as we're all poker players, we've all been so angry.
The coach should have 100%. Bench.
He should have pulled him, and I'm going to kind of bring that up. Is when we come in, CJ Stroud didn't know what town he was in. No. It would be this simple pass, like a bubble screen, and he was overthrown. Then he was underthrowing it. These are bubble screens to their feet.
He got the one receiver tore his ACL because he threw it behind him. The guy tried to reach back and get it.
Yeah,
That was
so
awful.
now we're talking about, can Stidham come in the AFC Championship? I don't know. I mean, that is so much pressure. I think if they come out and they start well, or let's just, because I think they're going to come out running. Denver's going to be run.
Well, Dobbins is supposed to be back this week too,
and to hopefully to see if they can establish the run. If they can establish the run, they get a quick score. Defense gets a turnover. I think he could just be near Bo Nix level. Again, what does that mean, near Bo Nix? But man, fourth quarter Bo Nix is really good. Can Stidham do that? I don't know. Yeah, I think in the first half it might not be that bad. Scripted plays.
I mean, third quarter Bo Nix last week was horrific, but first half and even third through fourth quarter, the only Bo Nix was great in the first half last week, and overtime. Great on the fourth quarter drive, the last drive of the game that took the lead, and overtime. Yeah. So, so other than that, like if Stidham is he really couldn't be much worse than third quarter and most of fourth quarter Bo Nix. So that's where I'm at.
I'm going to go with, I've thought about this and I wasn't even sure up until right now. I'm going to follow you, Mike. It's going to be my number 2 pick, and I'm going to go Denver. We'll see, though. There's so much unknown.
Woodley also likes Denver. I guess that's going to make me the odd man out, because I think quarterbacks win Super Bowls and defenses win Super Bowls fine. Defense does have, Denver does have a great defense. Is real.
Yeah, but if you look at Denver's last 3 games, it hasn't been as good. And Josh Allen put up he had 4 turnovers and still put up 30.
Right.
They never stopped them.
All
they
of
never
which
punted.
I'm going to go.
They never punted.
I'm going to go against the grain. I like New England, and that's my number 1 pick. I like them a lot, and it's just been really, really, really impressive to watch Drake May. I mean, what is going on here? He was a legitimate MVP contender. Only Mike railed against him in our private chat because
he's had 6 fumbles and 2 picks, and his quarterback rating is like 40 in his 2 games. Now, he did play the best defense in the NFL and the 5th best defense in the NFL,
and he did play against the worst quarterback of probably the worst quarterbacking job that I can remember.
If they just ran the ball, if they just never turned the ball over and then punted the ball, they would have won the game. That's how.
I really thought that Houston had a better team before the game, and even during the game, I thought it was really close. But I thought Houston had the better team. But that's what happened.
They messed up. You have to go to your backup Mills. When you see a quarterback is tilted, he couldn't mentally recover. It doesn't mean you can't go back to Stroud. I don't gone back to Stroud if they would have won this week. I don't care. You got it. This is a playoff game now. Everybody could see that was watching at home could see he couldn't make a pass. You have to move on from that. He was gone.
Guys, I'm going to take your attention back to Alabama when they played for the national championship, and they had a very good quarterback. Hurts was in there. And out of nowhere at halftime, that amazing
Tua.
Yeah,
coach,
they brought Tua in because they knew he didn't have it that day. Agree.
Nick brings in Tua. He throws an interception like on the first play, and they stick with him, and he looks masterful. He looks unbelievable. They don't win that game without that gutsy switching of quarterback. I thought he was out of his mind. You're taking Hurts out. And I mean, what a gutsy thing that won him a national championship.
But this was obvious that this coach has to see. Obvious. You have to see that your quarterback is completely gone. He was going to the line of scrimmage. He had no control over the line of scrimmage. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where the pass was. And sometimes you have to say, you know what, CJ, we have all the belief in you, but we're gonna start Davis Mills at the half.
You know what's funny about the Nick Saban one? I remember watching that game live, and I didn't agree with that. I'm like, oh, you're bringing in some true freshman, and he had only played like a few snaps. We're talking, here I'm worried about that this guy's only played a few games in the pros. I mean, he had not played since high school. I mean, that was wild.
I don't think any sane, rational person agreed with that decision, but that's a gutsy play that won him a championship. And this is a lot more obvious. Pull him out. And guess what? Mills had, what did he have? 4 good games? And Stroud even said, Stroud was quoted, I learned a lot watching Davis Mills. I became a better quarterback because of Davis Mills. And Davis Mills was not, I think one of the things was he was not turning over the ball very much. And so then I think Stroud learned from that. Now, I thought this is the new Stroud, right? He was great his rookie year. He fell apart his sophomore year. Now we're on to his third year. And after the Davis Mills, I thought he has it. It's in his mind. He has it. He's going to be really good. And he was really bad, and it was very disappointing. And Houston had such a great defense. And, yeah, they should have pulled it. I agree with you guys.
I mean, I don't know if they would have won, because
I don't know if they would have won either.
Give
him a shot. At least.
He came out at halftime. I thought that he made some good drives, and they got down to where they were only down 5. But when they got in the red zone, he was completely lost, and they had to kick field goals. And he didn't make as many mistakes, but I think they made a mistake. So,
yeah. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So we haven't. It's very strange because there's only 3 of us, and we're only talking about 2 games. So feels interesting. So on the other side of the break here, I'm going to have a real quick award ceremony, but first we'll give you our number 2 pick. See you on the other side of the break.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VEASAN Podcast Network.
The Feta Sports Podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Splash Sports. If you don't know Splash, the founders bought OfficeFootpool.com and RunYourPool.com, and they're now live in 45 states and Canada. Download the Splash Sports app, currently sitting at number 7 sports app in the App Store and climbing, and you'll find all sorts of contests and bets starting at $5. Thank you. Thanks again to Splash Sports for sponsoring the Fade Us Sports Podcast. Again, for our number 2 picks, we're going to come to Mike the Mouth Matisow, who, if I had fire emojis, Danny, if you could put fire emojis, add them right here.
There's snow
Mike's
emojis the last 3 weeks, that's for sure. This is every single category in the whole entire world points to the Seahawks in this game. I don't see anything that points to the Rams except for one thing. The fact that they knew, the people who put up the lines, that everyone was going to bet the Seahawks, and they still opened at 1.5. And everybody knows that Seattle has the number 1 home court advantage next to probably Kansas City, which is worth 2.5.
They got the number 1 field. I mean,
right.
It's the
which
loudest.
Is worth like 3 points, and they open at 1.5. So they're basically telling you on a neutral field, the Rams would be 1.5 point favorites or 1 point favorites.
Correct.
And to me, I look at teams that are peaking and teams that are not so well, right? So the Rams were peaking when they played Seattle in week 16, and they smash-mouthed them. And then the punt return happened, the craziest 2-point conversions of all time happened, and somehow they lose this game in overtime, right? And then you go to the next game, right? And the Rams were horrific in that first half against Atlanta. And then they came all the way back, and they had a chance to win somehow with the blocked field goal for the touchdown, right? And then the first half against Arizona, they kind of struggled. And, of course, they pulled away from Arizona because, everybody else does, because Arizona's pass defense was so bad, right? Now we go to the playoff game, right? And Carolina, you had the rematch. And the Rams were real lucky to win that game. And the truth of the matter is yes, Stafford was great in the fourth quarter, and he won them the game. But when they got the ball back with 2 minutes to go, down 4, you're thinking to yourself, are they going to win? Are the Rams going to lose to Carolina here again? And then you go, now the one thing I do agree with a lot of the talking heads is they're not getting enough credit for that winning in Chicago last week. That was a frigid, beyond cold game, okay? The Rams, okay, Stafford admitted he had a horrible game, okay, which he did. And we can talk about this also, if you would want to, is McVay called the worst game I've ever seen a coach call. If they'd have lost that game, I'd be talking about firing him because they were getting 5 to 6 yards of carry on the first down, and then they would go pass, or they'd come out pass. And all that. And once he realized, wait a minute, I need to run the ball, which is what he did in the fourth quarter against the Bears last week. They gashed them. They took the 17-10 lead. And then came that craziest play I've ever seen in my life to put it into overtime. I mean, This kid's going to be a star. I'm convinced of it. But anyways, so the Rams really played a good game. Stafford didn't play that well, but they had 0 drop passes and 0 penalties.
By the way, Mike is referring to that miraculous Caleb Williams thing. By the way, cost me a lot of money.
That's the greatest throw maybe I've ever seen him. Maybe. And
it might be the greatest throw I've ever seen. And if it's not, it's top 3.
It's the greatest I've never. And you got to remember, the greatest one I'd ever seen was the week before.
I've never seen anybody run straight backwards like that. Whenever anybody does that,
37 yards backwards and heaved it. And I don't think I don't think he knew there was a receiver there. I think he just threw it as far as he could and hoped somebody was there.
I'm going to give you credit. What he would do is he would turn around and he'd look and he would see that everybody's still bull rushing, like big eyes. He'd turn around and he'd kind of look for like a second time, and then he would still just keep running straight back. Anytime I've ever seen a player run straight backwards, has anything good ever come from that?
Never.
And McVay said in the press conference, he goes, "How about that play that kid made?" He goes, "That's incredible." And that really was incredible.
And it was kind of the same pass that was the hero pass that I was talking about the week before, where he kind of bread baskets the pass. It's that same type of pass.
In between 3 defenders the week before.
The week before was 3, and he does
4th
it just
and
like
7
that.
or something.
Yeah, it was 4th and 8. And
that's why it was incredible.
So that play, believe it or not, was opposite. It was actually worth $10,000 for me because I had a $10,000 whoever goes furthest bet with somebody. I don't want to name any names. And
Ryan.
No, I don't want to name him. Come on. It's all right.
Yeah. Ryan, a guest host of the show. He doesn't mind.
Screw him. Ryan Feldman. I beat his ass. Okay. So he had nobody left, and I had the Rams. Okay. So I'm like, well, the line moved to 4. I'm like, I'll just take 4 with the Bears for $5,000, and this way I win $5,000 no matter what. And if the Rams win by less than 4,
you middled it.
I middled it. Okay,
so beautiful for you.
So now when they get that crazy touchdown, right? I'm like, I'm going to win $5,000 either way, but I need the Rams to win because if the Rams win the Super Bowl, I get double, so it's worth $20,000. So I still have free roll on this $10,000. With that said, I see a team, like going back to my pick here, that's peaking versus a team that's, their defense finally came to play last week. That's the thing, is the Rams defense for 5 straight weeks went from the top 5 to like 27th the last 5 weeks. And then they held a very, very, very good Bears defense offense to nothing, really. They had like one score in 3 beside the crazy pass, it was 10 points. So I don't know, man.
So who are you taking, Mike? After all that, who are you taking on your side?
I want the Rams really bad, but I'm going to go with Seattle.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I thought about it at first. When this first came out, I kind of thought to myself, oh, it's the Rams. I always talk about this on the show. The Rams have just snake bit the Seahawks. And of course, we have to go through our greatest fear in the NFC. The Seahawks' greatest fear, got to go through the Rams. And at first I'm like, oh, it's going to be the same old story. But we kind of got over our fears in the last week of the regular season. I am now going to actually take as my number 1 pick, Seattle. I never picked them against the Rams, but here I go. I'm going to take it against the Rams. Now, here's what I keep wondering. Which team is it that we're going to get that's from the Rams? The Rams all of a sudden on offense have not looked the same. I don't know if you guys have been thinking what
their defense has been bad. Their offense has been good. I mean,
yeah, it all Seattle's defense has to do, man, they're coming out and just rocking them. I want to see the Seattle defense come out and rock them. And what people get so down on Darnold, but you know what I like that Darnold does? Yeah, he might throw that interception, maybe 2, but what he's doing is he's throwing it downfield. He's not doing these bubble screen passes where they're getting tipped at the line of scrimmage and going. When he's getting picked off, it's going 30 yards down the field. It's like a half punt.
Here's the thing about
it's not that bad.
This is another thing about this game too, is game 1, they got the 4 Darnold picks, right? And they led the game 21-6, and it was 21-9, right? Then 21-12 with 2 minutes to go. Then they get that touchdown, and somehow terrible play calls by McVay, and they had a 61-yard fucking chance to win. But that game, like, They held Stafford to like 121 yards passing that game, right? And so I said to myself, because I was on the Rams in game 2, I said, well, McVay's going to make the adjustments, and they're going to and what did they do? They had 457 yards of offense in game 2. Okay, but that Seattle defense has only been shredded twice: the Tampa Bay game and game 2 against the Rams. So now you have to tell yourself, well, did that Seattle defense just have a bad game in game 2 against the Rams? And if that is what, I mean, they've lost 3 games by a total of 9 points, Seattle. And if that's the truth, which I think it might be, I think Seattle's going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it easily, but I hope I'm wrong.
There's a chance. There's a chance. If and here's the other thing about Seattle that you're not seeing in the boxes, Mike. How many times have I told you about that Seattle special teams? And when Shaheed came,
that's another big difference. They have the best special teams against the Rams. Have like the worst.
They're
special
so good.
teams.
Yes,
the Rams special teams have been horrible. It cost them game. It cost them the last game. Okay, when they had the punt return, it cost them the game against Philadelphia. It cost them what? They fired the special teams coach. Out, so, and,
dude, I knew that. I knew we had the 49ers dead after that opening kickoff. Man, that place was alive. That kickoff was
okay,
crazy.
Guys. Let's talk about this week for another minute here. And guess what? David Woodley also likes Seattle -2.5. It's -2.5, right?
Yes, that is right.
And guess what? For the second time in this podcast, Phil loves the other side. Not likes it, loves the other side.
This game went to 3 yesterday for a minute, and I knew it was going to go to 3 too. And but I think if you like the Rams, I think it's going to go to 3.
It's right on the border right now. I'll tell you right now. I looked at my site, and I'm going to give myself 3 on this because it's right there. It's a little more juice than usual to move it.
It was -115, but it's like 125 now. So
yeah, but I'm going to take the 3. I'm going to give myself a little break here. Look, let me just say that I was very disappointed in the Rams against the Panthers. They let down. And I think they're the best team in the league. They let down, and they barely won the game. Against the Bears, at least they manned up in the second half.
And the defense was great. And that's
they had to dodge. Their defense looked unbelievable. I was kind of surprised at how good the defense looked. And I think that first of all, it was unbelievable that they lost that game. We keep referring to that game 2, which was like week 16. Unbelievable game. Rams at Seattle. We keep referencing it. I think it was one of those ones where it was 98.5%, 98%, something like that. And I don't think it's going to happen again. And I also think who has the better defense? Okay, Seattle. Okay. Let me finish, Mike. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Stafford is the MVP this year. Okay, he's going to show up, and it's harder for him to show up at age 37 in the icy cold. No excuse for him not to be there for the Panthers. He's going to be ready. McVay has spent a lot of time dicing this defense up. McVay is, in general, is a genius. His play calling's been unbelievable. He was a head coach at age 32, I think, maybe 31. And I think he's going to find a way. He's going to find some weaknesses in the Seattle defense. If Seattle overcommits to the left, he's going to go out right. If they overcommit to the right, he's going to go to the left. If they overcommit short, he's going to have Stafford throw long. And Stafford can make all the throws. We know this. So I actually think that the Rams are going to I think it's going to be a very depressing day in Seattle. I think that it's going to be literally, I think it's going to be 35 to 20. I think they're going to win.
That would be
big.
a depressing day. Okay, 2 things that I love.
There's one stat I want to throw out.
No,
I want to throw this one
I want
stat.
to beat you to this stat. Okay,
teams, listen to this. The teams that have the number 1 offense in the league versus the number 1 defense in the league. The number 1 defenses are 5-0 straight up and 5-0 against the spread. I just wanted to let that one out there.
Okay, and I have one stat. I thought, because me and Mike were talking about this in our group chat, I thought he was going to beat me to it. Teams have to go to an outdoor stadium. 15-0. The home team is 15-0 in conference championships. That is big. Yeah. I want to give, by the way, big praise to the Rams that was a tough weather, wintry weather, snow.
No, that's a
They're
big
from
win.
LA, a dome
They
game.
gutted it out.
Dude, that is not easy to go play in the snow. January weather outdoor in the NFL is brutal. It is going to be perfectly sunny and nice, 32 degrees in Seattle, but
Is it going to be sunny? It's never sunny. Doesn't it rain there every day of the year?
It's
No,
never
it's been
sunny in
sunny.
Seattle. Is that a song
been-
in a
You know,
movie?
When I was in
Philadelphia.
Seattle to get my procedure done, they said that it rains every day in the winter in Seattle.
it's
There's
been
never a
it
sunny
usually
day.
does, but it's been
In the
nice
mornings,
and
usually, Mike.
cold. It's been sunny and cold here for the last
I'm a Cali
week, so.
guy. It rains a lot in the mornings, but then kind of clears up in the afternoons a lot of times. All right, this is a really fun game, by the way. I mean, I just would anybody be surprised if the Rams won 35-20? Would you guys be
Yes.
shocked?
Yes.
Would you be shocked?
I would be. I
I think that defense is that good, and I think it's the only way the Rams win is going to be low
Every once in a
scoring.
while,
Would
every
you be
once in a while, they
shocked?
do open up on that defense.
Would you
would.
be shocked if 35 Seattle and 20 the Rams? That would shock me.
No,
That would not.
not
that
at
wouldn't
all
shock me.
because
it would
because,
shock me the other way.
Because look again, that defense has had two bad games. The one where I lost 3 survivor picks against Tampa Bay, and week 16.
Mike,
that's it.
tell me the last time that Darnold was put to the test in a big playoff game.
Yeah, but they don't need Darnold. They just need to.
Yeah, I agree.
When was the last time he was put to the test? Because he's always up 15, 20 points. It's pretty easy to throw a 10-yard pass and not get interceptions when
They
you're
could
up
have
big.
won. They could have beat San Francisco without a quarterback. There's no
Well, they- so the
debate
thing-
there.
what-
They could have
the
played 10 people and still won that
Yeah.
game.
That's going to be the thing. If the Rams are able to run the ball, okay, which nobody's been able to run the ball against Seattle. Okay, if the Rams are able to run the ball, they will win the game. If they are not able to run the ball, they will not win the game. That's
Let me just tell you this too. We all saw it. We watch every game or most every game, especially in the playoffs. We all saw Seattle has momentum. I mean, major momentum.
Man, they have momentum.
They are blowing people out. Their defense looks unpenetrable. Their offense, they're rolling. Their special teams, they are just on a roll, and that's why everybody in Seattle is expecting it. Except it's the Rams, Cantu. And we know on a neutral field who the better team is. The odd makers have told us this. For the people at home,
No,
it's a
well, here's the
3-point
thing.
difference. So the odd makers know that the Rams are probably a 1.5-point favorite. They are the better team, but it's in Seattle, and
Seattle is so
Let's just-
much
let's just-
better. Hold on, they're so much better at home. They've been so much better every
Well, I
game.
don't know. They're
The first
undefeated.
half of
They're
the year-
undefeated on the road, buddy.
Yeah, but they're still just another animal of playoffs in Seattle. That stadium's incredible. It's just so loud how they built it, and it's somehow louder. I don't know how the architecture is, but it's somehow louder. The first half of the season, they were okay. Seattle was okay. Yeah, they were still playing good. Man, every single game they are that much better. And so we're about to see they're so young. I think they're just all clicking right now.
Well,
And if
I
that's
saw
still just clicking, they
this
might just
too.
blow 'em out.
Here's another stat I saw. Not only is Seattle so young, they have like 70 million in cap space next year, and they have all their draft picks. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is really like Stafford's last hurrah, and I know
not his last hurrah.
I know that the
could be his last hurrah. In other words, his last chance to win a Super Bowl.
Right. And so I do believe that you're right. Darnold hasn't been pressed. Okay. And every time he's been pressed, he's made mistakes. Stafford had his bad game last week, and he'll be good. Okay. But if they're not able to run the ball and they just are able to just key on the pass, but here's the thing. What do I always tell you guys? Run the ball, stop the run. Right now, Seattle is running the ball better than any team in the NFL, and they have stopped the run. Nobody's stopped the run better than them.
What's interesting about this game, when you watch the last few games, is the Rams' defensive line is in the backfield a lot, and the Seattle defensive line is in the backfield a lot. So these are two very high-pressure defenses, which I think you need to win a Super Bowl. You can't just sit back and let some quarterback just slice and dice you. So all the momentum, all the marbles, I believe that, and I think we all believe that whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl.
Here's another thing, okay? If Seattle wins, they are 3, and the Patriots win, they are 3.5 over the Patriots. If Seattle wins and the Denver wins, they are 8 not 8.5 or 9, whatever, not 9 over Denver, right?
Wait, say that again? Wait, what are you saying?
The bottom line is whoever wins this game, they're the exact same line, 9 over Denver and 3.5.
No.
Yes, and so
okay.
So what they're basically saying is these two teams here are dead even, maybe a half point, 1 point difference, right?
Okay.
So, but for the look ahead line next week for the Super Bowl, the line is the exact same line if the Rams play Denver or the Rams play the Patriots. So that's
I know one other thing, boys. I won't be scheduling a flight during this game. Like, I've been forced to do a fair amount of traveling the last few weeks, and and it's not as much fun to watch it. Like, I've been able to watch it on the airplane, but this time I'm going to be dug in somewhere. I'm going to make sure I have some chip and dip by my side. I'm going to have 4 different kinds of candy. I'll probably be, the Aria Hotel is where I'll stay. Of course, my new place might be ready by then. I think we're closing on Friday.
Aria Hotel's where you're going to stay. I thought, aren't you going to the Super Bowl in your hometown?
Yes.
This is not the Super Bowl. I'm talking about this week.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
this week.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl is like 17 minutes from my house. So I'm kind of, yeah. And it's interesting, too, because, like, when Seattle played at San Francisco, right, last game of the season, if San Francisco wins that game, they host every single game, including the Super Bowl. What I didn't understand is if Seattle won, they would host every single game at Seattle until the Super Bowl. So they only have to travel down the coast if they win. And so, I mean, there's something to them being well rested. There's something having momentum, but I think Stafford finds a way to get it done. I think Puka Nacua finds a way to get it done. And it could be one of those things where Puka Nacua has the ball and they're supposed to stop him a yard short, and there's 2 people on him, and he just presses through both of them like we've seen him do countless times, and there's a key first down, and the Rams are rolling.
Here's another thing, okay? The Rams had to travel to Chicago in that brutal weather. They played on Sunday and played 5 full quarters. Seattle played on Saturday and played 3 quarters. They rested everybody. So you're talking about one team playing one day, actually maybe a day and a half left, because they had Saturday to the 5 quarters to the late game on Sunday, and that's a big difference. They had to play 5 full quarters. There was like 2 minutes left to go in overtime,
bro. They had to travel to the East Coast to play the Panthers. Now they had to travel to Chicago to play the Bears. And I don't think they camped out there. The Harbaugh move, which he introduced like in 2012 or something a long time ago, where he's like, hey, I'm just going to keep my team here close by. So this is different. So, but, it's a pretty short flight this time. But, yeah, I think fatigue could be a factor, especially the first 7-8 minutes of the game.
And the Rams beat them up like twice. Like now you're basically saying like if they didn't give that game away, they'd be 2-0, and it's tough to beat a team 3 times. Like I know they won whatever, but you're talking. I mean, everything kind of points to Seattle in this game, and I'm hoping I'm wrong.
What do you mean everything points to Seattle? You said it right. You said you can't beat a team 3 times in a row. So maybe the Rams lost that game so that they could beat them later. Because it would have been tough to win 3 in a row.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. No, but they're 1-1. They're 1-1 so far this year. This is
correct.
Yeah. But they beat them up. They beat them pretty good.
They beat them up twice. They really did. Even Cantu, the homer over there, has to admit that. Okay, guys, we're coming back from the break with a couple of awards. See you in a minute.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VEASAN Podcast Network.
Folks, you might be listening to this podcast because you want an edge. You have the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Pro Better spend thousands of dollars on data and tools. But what they don't know, you can get that same edge for a fraction of the cost with VEASAN Pro. With VEASAN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting, data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VEASAN Pro to cash more bets. Okay, we're going to have a very fun little award here. We have the Moneymaker Award. Goes to Mike Matisow with a stellar 63.89 win rate. The man talks a big game, and this season he actually backed it up. Completely unbearable, but effective.
Congratulations, Mike. I like these new season-ending awards that we get here, Phil. These are kind of fun.
Unbearable. That's so good. All right, we got another one. You ready? The Better Luck Next Season Award, presented to David Woodley, who managed a 42.86 win rate. Maybe next year the Vikings and Sooners will stop breaking his heart and his picks will follow suit. Of course, Woodley still has a big horse in the game. He also, like Cantu, Seattle is his second biggest team, and he bleeds for them, but not as much as Minnesota. All right, guys, ready for the Mr. Consistency Award? Cantu takes this one, finishing exactly 50%, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. He's either winning or losing, never a dull moment, and always good for a kicker rant.
Wow.
Cantu
what's good? I was 50% this year, and I think it was 50% last year.
God,
I'll take it.
If I was betting every day and finished 50% and only lost juice, I'd be very rich.
Yeah, 50%. 50%. I'll take it. NFL's tough,
Okay, here we go. I have more information. I love this. Okay, this is a little negative for me, but But let me finish. The Square Peg Round Hole Award. This one is for Phil Hellmuth, me, with a 44.44 win rate. His square peg strategy of betting favorites didn't quite pan out. Maybe try fading me next season.
Oh, man.
I must point out that 44.44% beat Woodley.
It's tough for Woodley to win. It's tough for Woodley to win when he picks his number one pick as the Vikings every week. He did win. They did win the last 4 weeks, and he only had 2 of them.
Yeah, he would have done better.
Actually, they won 5 in a row to end the year.
Yeah. Okay, so this is really good stuff. Cantu,
I love these.
So Cantu at 50%. And by the way, over the last 2 years, I'm losing. This is the Fade Us Sportscast. You should be betting against me, folks. All right. Over the last 2 years, Mike is losing, even though he had a stellar year this year and won like 12 or 13 units. If you doubled on his bets, Cantu exactly 50%. So you would lose some juice, which means you'd be down a game or two because you had to pay juice on his bets.
Bet with your friends on my bets. Bet with your friends. That way you're even,
And I believe Woodley is also probably a little bit down. So this is the Fade Us Sports Podcast. Bet against us and you make money. Except for Mike the Mouth Madison. What a year.
Woodley won last year because remember the Vikings went like 14-3 or something last year. And he bet the Vikings but
he didn't win enough to cover his 42% win rate this year.
No? Okay.
I mean, he did.
He's got to be close.
Seattle won 10-7. He had Seattle and the Vikings like every week last year.
Yeah, Seattle was really good at covering last year. So.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't finish that far up. He was like, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I think that's really funny that we called this the Fade Us Sports Podcast. And by the way, for the folks at home, we decided to launch this podcast. Visa decided to hire us, and I insisted on Fade Us Sports. And the producer, Danny, who we love, said, no, Phil, you can't use it. Everybody said, no, Phil, you can't use it. I said, reach out to the guy that owns Fade Us Sports. And we found him, and everybody said, you can't use it because we haven't signed the contract. And I said, I'll take the legal risk. We're calling it the Fade Us Sports Podcast. We put it out to you, the entire world, to come up with a logo. The fantastic logo came.
Do you think it's a good idea to say, I'll take the legal risk, and then tell everybody that you just made $23 million?
But we did buy it, Mike. So there was no legal risk in the end.
We did
buy it.
I didn't know.
It's not like they could ever sue us for more than like $20,000 or something. Anyway,
that sounded funny though.
But we did buy it, and we did buy the logo.
It was a very good point, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, we have one more episode left for the Super Bowl. And we might have to do 2 episodes and stretch it into really long, but we might take the week off next week and just give you our Super Bowl picks.
We gotta have a Super Bowl recap, don't we, Phil? I mean, like, especially with the Super Bowl in your backyard. We're gonna have to have 2 more, a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl recap, because we got a recap.
Okay, 2 or 3 more episodes left, and then we're done. And then I'm going to stop the podcast until the next NFL season. But these guys are going to continue the podcast and doing some really cool stuff, I've heard, and maybe they'll knock it out at the park.